Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. So, all you are able to hear me. I hope that all of you have settled down to attend today's lecture. You are able to hear me? Any of you? Yeah? Okay, good. So, today we'll start. Yesterday, we discussed in general about contemporary research, where we talked about responsibility of student, responsibility of advisor, student and advisor relationship in research, particularly those things, and also many other things we discuss. One thing I forgot last time to give you a homework. So I would like to give a homework, something like this to you. So let me write this last lecture homework. So my homework was basically I want to ask you how write a brief note how you have selected your advisor and your research area. So I like you to all of you prepare your story about how you have selected your advisor and your research area, because every day we'll give you one homework. So you should write this sincerely and keep it to. Maybe one lecture will devote uh, for interaction. So the we can discuss more detail on how what are the various experiences that will help in a big way to understand each other's problem. Today we are going to learn some very basic understanding of research methodology. Let me. So what we are going to learn is basically what do you mean by start with. We will understand what do you mean by research methodology. Then so then we'll go to learn types of research. The types of research we carry out. So we'll try to highlight that. What are the types of research? And which criteria we have divided types of research. Then we'll consider about research processes. This is there are six steps in this research processes. We will find six steps, six-step process which we are going to learn. Which we are going to learn. But when anybody wants to do research, they have to, under this research methodology, they have to go through all these six steps, and soon we will come to that. And maybe in our research methodology course, we'll be talking about each of these steps. So I can erase the whole page. What we use cut. Yeah. Okay. Let me start with defining research methodology first. Let me define this. What do you mean by basically? What I'm telling you, what do you mean by research methodology? How do you define it? Okay, let me write this. Okay. Brushes. Let me first define research methodology is, let us mark this sentence, this is very important, is the specific procedures or techniques used to identify, select, process, and analyze information about a topic. This is what is your research methodology. Is the specific procedures or techniques used to identify, select, process, and analyze information about a topic. Once you say this is what is research methodology by definition. The most important part of it is it follows a in a research methodology. The most important part. Now I can write the most. It follows a scientific principle. This what is scientific investigation principle? This you will learn as you go along. Actually, these are the important things. In the series of lectures, you will try to understand each of these terms, because research methodology is it's important part is it follows a scientific investigation. As you go along, you will see this. And as I told you, let me just erase. I think now I can erase this. Okay. Yeah. As I told you, the first ingredient of this research methodology is identification. Identification, this is a very important ingredient of research methodology. If the problem already exists, or it is going to be to come in the future. All these cases, you have to identify your topic, and that will be your basically research topic. Here will really decide your research. Maybe you will see whether this problem is already exist. You want to take that as your research topic, or you can visualize that this problem is going to come. Then also you can take the take that as your research topic. Or sometimes suppose there are you want to extend the body of knowledge. We know about some topic to large extent, so you want to extend more on that. Like for example, suppose you say that we know about there are around 1,000 viruses. So you want to do a research whether many more or any more viruses are there. That will be also you can take as a research problem. The second ingredient is the once you have a research topic, you know now you have a problem. This is my problem. Then the next important thing is collection of data. So this data will suppose you have taken up a problem. This data will be really your evidence. So you collect evidence in the form of data. So there are different type of data. Suppose you do an experiment, so you can get data from the experiment, or you want to do a survey, then you have to put questionnaires, and from those questionnaires you can also collect data. So the third ingredient, once you have collected data, then third ingredient is analysis. Analysis of collected data. So when you do a experiment, your raw data will be sometimes huge. Suppose you could do a high energy physics experiment or a nuclear physics experiment, your raw data will be in gigabytes or terabytes. But then you have to do some sort of statistical procedure you have to follow and develop some indices or a measure to summarize your collected data. No, you have to ultimately convert your data to such a form where you can give a meaning to it. So to do that, what you do, you develop some sort of indices, like for example, I can say that you find out what is the mean, what is the variance, and those type of things you can do, because then only you can analyze the data. So once you have done that, it may be qualitative or quantitative analysis. You can carry out through studying, correlation or regression between various parameters. That is what you will do. The fourth ingredient is your dissemination. Suppose you have to solve your research problem. Use of information in a meaningful way. Whatever information now you got from your data or data analysis, use those information in a meaningful way to get a meaningful result. So when you talk about research methodology, it is all these processes what I told you. It's basically a overall theory how research should be done. In a research methodology, you will see it discuss every aspect of research, like starting from research question or identifying the problem to finally dissemination. All those things, they constitute what you call is a research methodology. And it's basically, we can say it is the theory of how, if I say research methodology, it's basically the theory of how research is done. So this is, is all about research methodology. And then, you also knowing one term, what is called research method. So what is the difference between research method and research methodology? The technique and procedure used to obtain data. The technique used to obtain the information or data is called the research method. Now, this is very important. You must understand what is the difference between research method and research methodology. Methodology is basically all these steps, and research method is only the technique and the procedures used to obtain data. So we are going to learn from A to Z of research methodology. In some way, the term research is sometimes misused. Without any issue, you don't have any issue, or nor you have a problem in hand, simply collecting facts or information without clear purpose. That is not research. Suppose when I want to buy a new car, then sometimes I collect information about various cars like Toyota, Honda, Kia, how those cars are there. So there, I cannot say that I am doing a research unless otherwise I have set some parameters, and I have set some goal. I want to do this study for certain reason, and if I see that certain car is good, then I must be able to analyze why it is good. If I am doing that type of study, then I have a purpose. I want to compare, suppose, mileage of various cars. Why one is more, why one is less. That type of issue is, suppose I am taking out, then only it will be called as a research. Otherwise, just without any purpose, if you are collecting information, that will not be called as a research. As I told you, research has a clear objective or purpose. First, you must have set your problem in a research. No, research is, it's defined as the creation of a new knowledge or use of existing knowledge in a new and creative way. So either you create a new knowledge or use the existing knowledge in a new and creative way so as to generate new concepts, methodologies, and understanding to find solution for a problem. Suppose there is a problem in your community or in your country. So suppose you use some existing knowledge, but in a very innovative way to generate some new concept and methodology, and then if you can solve the problem, that is what will be a research. Just suppose you read many articles and then you summarize them, reorder or reassemble the facts. Then you cannot say that that is a research, because you have no interpretation. You have not done. If you are not doing any interpretation, without interpretation, it is not research. Suppose you do a survey, just collect information. Many times you can see in newspaper it comes, they collect questionnaire. They will say so many people are telling this, so many people this. But just informing that is not a research. You have to give an interpretation why so many people are telling this, so many people are telling that. If you do an interpretation, then you can say it is a research. Otherwise, it's not a research. I want to erase this. Huh? Okay. So as we understand, research methodology is a very wide field, and research method is only a small part of that. Let me just erase it. Huh? So, erase this that much. वो कर दिया. Okay, sorry. So I was not able to erase it. So as I told you, research methodology is a wide term. Starts with research questions. In this case, we will be, and also finally we will do analysis and dissemination. Then finally it completes. So when you do a research, all our research is classified basically into two parts. I will tell you. When you do a research, you have a set objective. So let me just say research. Research classification. When you do research, you have a set objective. What we call is research. This objective can be categorized into two parts. One is basic, and other one is applied. Okay. What do you mean by basic research? Basic research, it's a problem faced by humanity. It's a general problem. I can say that it's a common problem. And this basic research, when you say it has got universal relevance. And basic research, what we are doing, we are trying to improve existing body of knowledge. But when it comes to applied research, it's a context is a limited objective. We'll see more detail on this. And also, this is a case where you are facing some problem. You are trying to, sorry, I cannot, trying to solve some problem. Problem. first, by organization or a community. You can further divide this basic and applied, in terms of, let me just erase it. Let me give a detailed difference between basic basic, as I told, it is a universal. And applied. It is a specific. Purpose of basic research. First, expand knowledge. Whereas for applied research, the purpose is improve understanding. In the problem faced. Okay. Suppose you are facing some organization is facing some problem. If you do the applied research, then it will improve the understanding in the problem. Second, the finding that provide significant significance and value to. Now, when you do a basic research, the finding that provides significance and value to the society. Like, for example, you take Newton's law of motion. This study, this gave the, motion of body was perceived in this theory, Newton's law of motion, and it has got a significance and a value to society in all field. In any body in motion, this law is applicable. So this is a basic research. And it will go to findings are practical relevance. Here you can write findings are of practical relevance. Now, as I told you, in basic research, the results results in universal principle. But when it comes to when it comes to applied research, results in solution of problem. Okay. So you see the typical difference between applied research and basic research. When it comes to applied research, suppose development of a vaccine, that was a applied research. And here this in applied research, your cost is high, because during Corona, you wanted this vaccine as early as possible. So whatever may be the cost, you develop it. So your applied research is sometimes it is very cost is high. Okay, now I can erase this. So in which context you do basic research, in which context you do applied research. Normally when you are in a university, you can do basic research, and in general in a organization you do applied research. And if you are doing a basic research, and a choice of your topic, that will it is subject is set by the researcher. You can decide which type of basic research you want to do, but you don't need any organization to consult. Suppose you are a university and you are in a institute where you are a professor, so you want to do research in particular field, then you can just keep on doing. You don't have to, consult anybody to do the basic research. And the time frame in a basic research is little flexible. You can, there is no restriction on time. But when it comes to applied research, the context is different. Mainly, this applied research are done in a organization. I mean, university also can do. Suppose sometimes university can get a project of applied nature to solve. But in generally, it is done. Like, for example, suppose I talk about BRC, I can tell you, here, mainly the research that is done are of applied nature. That is very obvious because, BRC is an organization. They have their own mandate, and while executing their own mandate, when they face some problem, so then somebody can take up those things as a research problem and carry out to research. So when you are doing as I told, when you are doing applied research, the objectives are set by the originator, of course, who has taken up this project in consultation with the organization or management. You have to consult with the management because like basic research, you cannot do this independently on your own. And this your research problem is decided in negotiation with your organization or management of the institute. And in this case, your timeline will be much restricted, and it's a pressure game because as I told you, development of vaccine for COVID-19, because normally a vaccine to be developed, it takes people say up to 10 years, but here you have to do it very fast. You don't have time, so they did it in a very tight time limit. That is what is applied research. And so these are the basic different, because when you are doing your research, you must know uh, which one you are doing. And next is what we are going to talk about is now we have learned the basics about the research method and research methodology and applied research and basic research. Now we'll go to discuss research processes. So as I told you earlier, there are 6 step process. We follow and do scientific research. Everybody who does a scientific research has to follow these 6 steps. You may be doing a quantitative research or qualitative, descriptive, or observational. You may be doing a questionnaire, any form of research. We have to follow these 6 steps. What I'm going to tell them, and this is the backbone of research methodology. So there are 6 steps. And as I told you, these steps are the backbone of research, and you just each step you follow clearly. They are the heart of all this research methodology study. The first step in research methodology is, let me write, formulating and clarifying a topic. You just note all these. This is the first step. Formulating and clarifying a research topic. What will be your research topic? It can be a basic or it can be a, applied. Now, these things you have to make yourself very clear. And more clear is your subject, more clear is your objective, more clear will be the result. Suppose I ask somebody, okay, in which field you want to do research? Suppose I say I want to do in solid state physics, or I want to do in nuclear or high energy physics. That is not the way you should say. That means you are not clear of your research topic. So you have to formulate and clarify. So you must narrow down your field. You have to be very specific. You must narrow down your field, and it must be latest. You always take up a research topic which is latest, and never give take a subject which is you have to identify the research question. When you want to be very specific, so you will identify the research question. It should not be very broad. So for this, maybe you have to go to literature, find out gap area, and what are the challenges people have faced to overcome those gap areas, and choose your topic. And one of those things, those gap area, will be your topic of research. And never take up a research topic just because maybe your friend is doing that, or your classmate is doing that, or your parents have told you to do that. With those philosophy, never take a research topic. Find a area you are interested in. That's that's the end of the final decision should be that it must interest you. The next step, and we are going to expand each of these steps, in a every class. Some of them may take one class, some of maybe half class, but basically we are going to study all these things, formulating and clarifying a research topic. That's one lecture will come. Then second process is reviewing literature. This is one of the very important step in research process. You have to review literature. You have to see and identify what has been already done and not done. Find your topic has significant gap in knowledge, because when you do a research, you have to add knowledge. So you must pick up a topic about which there is significant gap in the literature, and that will be your area of interest for research. And by that way, by solving or addressing the gaps in the literature, you can contribute to the body of knowledge. So third is designing the research. This is a hard process. Once you have now decided your topic, and also you have identified the gap areas, here you use the research method, what I told research method. So here you have to use your research method. How you are going to collect data, how you are going to collect your data, what will be your sample size, your experimental design, and what is the experimental method you are exactly, which instrument you are going to use to carry out your measurement, who are we going to be your collaborators, all those things you address in this step. So once you have now you have done the three things. You have done topic selection, you have done gap area, you have found out, so that you can contribute through your research on that that area, and you can add knowledge to the body. And then comes the data collection. This is the fourth one. So whatever you have done in your designing the research, so you have already decided there how you are going to collect your data. And when you collect data, you must know, a priori you must know what are the parameters you are looking for, what are the uh, measures you want for your research study, what are your parameters, all those things you collect in your data collection, and which computer acquisition system, what you are going to use, all those things you do in your data collection. So then the fifth step is a data analysis. In this, you have now collected data. And, as I told you earlier, this raw data is huge. Then you have to analyze this data, for which you have to implement certain statistical and analytical process so that you can develop certain indices or measures. And then, and also you may use some computer software, and using those things, then finally present your data in a meaningful way. There you present your data in a meaningful way. Once you have done your data analysis, the sixth step is writing it up. Writing up. This is also a very important part of your research. So, writing, once you have done your research formulation, you have done, and then gap area, then you have designed experimental research, data you have collected, and you have analyzed the data. Then, and also you have studied, in the process of data analysis, you have to study various correlations between parameters, and regression to measure the amount of correlation they are having between the parameters. And finally, once you have done some meaningful result you have got, and then you have to write it up. This is also a very important aspect of whole research, because you may do good work, but if you are not able to present it properly, then it will not be appreciated. Of course, writing, it must follow certain structure, and for this structure, what you have to do, you have to follow templates available for various journals. Suppose you want to publish in a journal, then you have to follow their template. Or suppose you want to write your thesis, then your university will be having, their one template. Then you have to follow their template to write your thesis. We will go more detail in how it is written. So these are the 6 steps, and maybe following lectures will be taking up each of them, and trying to understand in detail. So then once you have done this, there are certain things you must keep in mind very carefully. While you are doing research, you must consider certain factors like a impact of research bias. So let me again erase this. So, rightly. Okay. Yeah. Certain factors you must always keep in mind while doing research. The first thing is impact of research. Uh, what it means, avoid this. A specific solution before, suppose before you start doing, you don't keep in your mind that, okay, if I do the experiment, this will be my result. So don't do that. So the pre notion you don't keep about the result. You have to have a free mind. This is very important. The second point is access to data. This is what happens. Suppose you want to do a research for an organization. Many times when you do classified work, you have to make sure that those data will be available for your thesis, because many times many organizations they do classified work, but then they will not really release those data. Before you take up a research problem, you must very sure this data will be available to you. The third is time, because when you do research you have limited time, so you have to make a nice time budgeting, time budget, so that in a reasonable time you will able to finish your measurement and your literature study. Then analysis also will take time, and paper writing also will take. So all those things you have to keep in mind when doing research. And also you must develop certain procedure to validate your data before publishing. Validity and reliability of data. So this is very important. You must develop some procedure. There are statistical procedure. We'll talk about that to validate, and at least qualitatively you must be able to explain whatever result I am getting, they are reasonable. Then later on quantitative and or some statistical analysis you must do, and you must repeat your experiment many times. Repeatability should be there. And so last but not the least, ethicalism. That means avoid plagiarism, and don't do unethical means to collect data. Avoid unethical means to collect data. You must tell your respondent how you have collected your data. And avoid plagiarism, don't copy from anywhere. And last I must tell you, there is no one best way for undertaking all research. There is nothing, okay, we are telling about research methodology and things like that, but there is not a single way which is the best way for taking up research. Each topic is different. And every time you face different problems. Suppose you are doing some experiment, you may face some problem while your friend is doing, he may face some different problem. So these are, they're always you may face different problem. Only thing is that you have to learn during the process, and keep yourself learning, and every day you should learn something. Make sure that every day you are learning something new, and that is how you can keep yourself motivated for research, and you can do good work. These are the certain things you should remember while doing research. So finally, let me. We are coming to end. And, right. But then I will also today I will give a class question. Just a minute. Each of you describe how you have selected your research topic. So this is the question for today. We must work on this. So with this, I think we are coming to the end of today's lecture. And if any of you have any question, you can ask. And also, I will make a announcement because of some technical problem. We have certain issue in the institute. So maybe on Friday, we will not have a class. So we will try to adjust this class somewhere. So no, I hope that you will consider this inconvenience, because we wanted to not do, but there is some technical problem here. So we have to cancel 27th lecture. So please note it, and you can also announce it. We'll also announce it in an email, but tell your friends also that 27th will not be there in online. So we'll see how we can adjust this particular class someday. So now we are open for questions and suggestions. Sir, how do submit the class question? Question. How to submit class question? Sir, how to submit answer to homework and the questions? There is one email ID. RM. Okay. So can you write down that email? We are giving you an email ID. You can submit your answer to that email. Just write down the email. rm.sbni@gmail.com. You can send your question, your answers. Huh? Just will make sure email. Just hold on. So okay, in the meantime, you can ask other question. So we will give you that exact email ID. Yeah. These two question will give an email ID. You send it, and write your registration number also while submitting. Every lecture will give you one class question. So it will be good for you also. Please write down the RM Gmail. Again, so please note the email ID rmsbni@gmail.com. So please send your answer to the class question. This. Okay. What is the question? Should step to literature survey be before step? Okay. Actually, as far as research methodology goes, your formulating and clarifying a research topic comes first. First, you have to identify which area you want to work. Suppose I want to work in nuclear physics, and then I have to say that which area I want to work. Slowly, I converse, and then once I convert, then I can go to literature survey. Otherwise, if I keep my formulating and clarifying research topic broad, then it is very difficult to do research studies and find out gap areas. So I think what you have to do, you have to first do the formulating and clarifying the research topic. That should come. Question? So in the following classes, we will take up each of these topic and go a little more in detail. So all of you note that cost of basic and any other question? Okay. How easy is it to join as an independent scientist in a research institute? Also, is it easier to become one in a campus where only research is conducted? Where bachelor's and master's courses are also for life, ISA and IIT. How easy to join the independent scientist? So, no, I think any institute, they have got their own, system. So you have to fit to their system to be part of that institute. I think, like suppose you want to join a IIT, then you want to join as an assistant professor. Then you have to go through their requirement. When there is a requirement, you have to apply, and you must be able to qualify for them to join them. So otherwise, just how I can be independent scientist. So you have to also have a livelihood, and then you have to. So I don't think. Okay. Question? Sir, regarding the cost of the basic and applied research, sometimes cost of basic research also be very high, such as okay, that is a yeah, that's right. That's correct. If you say that SORM is it's an experimental research facility. It's a one facility. Yeah, because when you are going to the creating early part of the universe situation, so you have to spend money. Of course, this accelerator, SORN is not for only basic research. It has got a lot of applications. Like accelerators are applied, has application in every sphere of life. So no, it's not the basic research we are talking about. Where you can decide your topic. Like when you do a research in a SORN, you cannot decide your topic. You have to see what you can do there. So some experiment, I don't think it's really fits to purely basic research. So it may be it's experimental research, so it has got application and good. Basic research. Suppose the person who had predicted Higgs boson, that was he had done a basic research for a theory. He might have predicted this particle is there. Then later only we are doing experiment and trying to verify the hypothesis. Okay, sir, how we find the gap area before formulating the proof without the literature? No, you have to during literature survey is required just to find the gap area. Suppose one your interest in the research topic, as I told you in the last lecture also, it depends on many things. Like some topic you like during your undergraduate classes, or some professor who taught you very well and you liked his subject. There are certain things in the back of your mind that you feel like, okay, I want to do a research on this topic. But then you have to formulate your research topic. That means you have to really focus it, and then you narrow down your options. Once you narrow down, then you can go to literature survey and then find what are the study that has been already done and what are the gap areas. So then you can find out once you find out the gap area, and those things can be of your research topic. One of those gap area to addressing those issues, you can. That can be in your title of your thesis. That is your topic of research. So you want to address those challenges. They have not been accomplished, and you can take up that challenge. That is what is the gap area. So I think first you have to formulate. You have to narrow down your field. Then only you can go to the literature. Otherwise, literature is on. Okay, I hope I have to answer that. Now, what is the institution name? Okay. Okay. Sir, how do supply? So, should we stop here? Okay, thank you all. So, we'll stop here. See you in Monday. So, Friday we are off. Just please remember and tell your friends. We are extremely sorry for this, but we can't help. There is some technical problem here, so we have to put that up. Okay, once again, thank you all.